so beneath your magic spell, I'll ever learn to dwell. Maybe you're smiling, my heart beguiling towards me.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition has a look at stories making news tonight.
The TUC and its 14 affiliates strike throughout the Bahamas. Also, the nation's leader firing back at the TUC, calling it an unlawful strike. And later, the South Bimini Airport marks a significant milestone.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
They said he can't help me because everybody on strike.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Topping the news tonight, the Prime Minister has labeled it illegal, but the Trade Union Congress say they have had enough. The union and its 14 affiliates comprising the Bahamas Nurses Union, the Doctors Union, Bahamas Customs Immigration and Allied Workers Union and more have initiated industrial action. The move impacting critical government services on Grand Bahama. TUC President Obi Ferguson has charged it is time for a reckoning and government will face the might of workers over issues that for too long have gone unresolved. Cleopatra Murphy has the details of how that looked on Grand Bahama.
I get 2 broken ribs, I got a fractured wrist, fractured elbow, and my shoulders are the place I was supposed to see the specialist today. I am plenty pain.
A planned national strike by the Trade Union Congress and its affiliate unions is having real-world consequences for patients like Ramon King, who showed up at the Paris Plaza Specialty Clinic only to be turned away and his appointment rescheduled because doctors and nurses did not show up for work.
And they said he can't help me because everybody on strike.
And he flipped over a couple times in his car. So he was in the hospital for 7 days. I was over here for 7 days with him. We went back to Abaco, and they told us to come back on the 13th and the 14th to see specialists, 2 specialists he have to see.
King and his mother, Patrice Neely from Abaco, arrived on Sunday and were set to leave on Wednesday, the day his appointment has been rescheduled for. She says the strike is a grave inconvenience as it not only prolongs her son's pain, but it is also an added expense as they will have to extend their stay.
I don't know what's going on. You're saying you need more money, but people's health is at risk, you know. If the government, if y'all could pay the people what they need to be paid, it would be better for all of us. we'll get better service too.
From healthcare to education, services were impacted. Students at Walter Parker Primary left for morning, while students at Hugh Campbell Primary School left at midday. Parents are weighing in.
Not everyone can leave work to come and collect these kids. Y'all had ample time to let us know what was going on. Do better.
I don't feel the type of way. I mean, it threw us off from having to pick up, yes, but I guess everybody have to do what they have to do.
While the Bahamas Union of Teachers did not participate in the strike, the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union did. Deputy Director of Education on Grand Bahama, Michelle Boleg, says while some schools had more than 50% of teachers and educators in, a sufficient number were absent, prompting the noon closure.
I'd like to thank teachers, like I said, those who showed up, school administrators that showed up today, and especially education officer, DEOs, district superintendents that went into schools making sure of the safety of our students, and that was paramount.
As for health services, all community health clinics on Grand Bahama remain open, while the PHA says it activated protocols to ensure the safety of in-house and acute care patients. Now, for persons requiring emergency services, they are advised to visit the Rand Memorial Hospital's emergency department. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks for that report, Cleo. Well, air traffic control services across the Bahamas faced disruptions Monday as over 90% of air traffic control staff failed to report for duty. The action comes as part of ongoing nationwide union strikes, with unresolved staffing and promotion issues at the heart of the dispute. Deputy Director of Bahamas Air Navigation Services spoke to the media today, revealing that while the situation is challenging, efforts are underway to address the issues. Raven Davis has more in this report.
Over 90% of air traffic control staff failed to report for duty earlier Monday, causing disruptions in air traffic control services. This much revealed by Deputy Director of Bahamas Air Navigation Services with responsibility for air traffic control in the Bahamas, Brian Wilson, who addressed the issue with our ZNS News team today.
Very large number of staff members did not report for duty this morning, but we were able to enact preventative measures to maintain efficiency and the safety in the services. So we have kept traffic moving safely and efficiently and results.
The action is part of a wider situation involving nationwide union strikes. Trade Union Congress President O.B. Ferguson had alluded to the possibility of such actions in a voice note circulated on Sunday. Now, Wilson clarified that some of the unresolved issues include promotions and staffing concerns within the air navigation sector. Reports suggest that the strike is expected to last for the next 2 days. However, officials at the Grand Bahama International Airport have confirmed that there have been no flight service disruptions.
By and large, I think the Bahamas Air Navigation Services Authority has been working very closely with our movement to get their issues resolved. To a large extent, I think the majority of those issues have been taken care of. And I believe that we are moving diligently to address the remaining outstanding issues.
Meantime, Wilson says it is difficult to pinpoint what exactly led to this point, but he says it is expected that both parties will work together to find amicable solutions to the issues tabled. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis has responded to the threat of an unlawful national strike by Bahamas Trade Union, urging union leaders to engage in dialogue rather than disrupt the nation. Davis emphasized that the government remains committed to resolving labor issues through discussions and criticized the timing of the strike call, stressing that a meeting had already been scheduled for the following day. Our Shalia Roll joins us live in studio with a review of that statement.
Well, Romiko, Prime Minister Davis has addressed the threat of unlawful industrial action in a press statement last evening. The nation chief says that he cannot let this evening go by without addressing a threatened unlawful industrial action announced by the leader of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress, O.B. Ferguson. The Prime Minister adds that Ferguson is an attorney and should well know about good faith and lawful conduct. The publicly proposed action is therefore surprising. Prime Minister Davis adding that it seems to him that in the face of of this threat to break the law, the government must act. The Prime Minister says that he appeals to members of the trade union and their leadership to look at the facts. There is no issue that cannot be discussed and has not been discussed. The Prime Minister adding that it is known that he has had an open door and the door remains open. The Prime Minister says that after days of trying to reach Mr. Ferguson by phone and his apparent refusal to answer his phone, he now publishes a voice note saying with the untruth that the Davis administration has not sought to resolve problems. The Prime Minister adds that his diary shows that he had agreed to a meeting today at 2 p.m. Prime Minister Davis says that he is not standing on ceremony, adding that he's a leader that wants to resolve problems. The nation chief also adding that his main concern is for the well-being of the nation. The question one must ask is why would the head of the TUC want to inflict harm on the nation when the problems can be solved by discussion and not unlawful strike? Prime Minister Davis notes that he has consulted and remained in talks with the minister responsible for labor and public service, Honorable Pia Glover-Roll. She has done a human job on the labor front and stands ready to continue to engage. PM Davis making it clear that his commitment stands, adding that the union leaders, workers, and the Davis administration and all right-thinking Bahamians want what is best for our Bahamas. The press release further said they must and will make every reasonable, fair, and rational effort to provide proper health care and save the economy with the movement of visitors, residents, and products entering and exiting our islands with controls of customs and immigration. The Prime Minister adds that they value all other civil servants seeking some level of negotiated resolve. Now, Ramiko, this strike is expected to last for 2 days. Will Tuesday be the end of this saga? Well, that remains to be seen. Coming to you live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Shalia. We wait to see what happens next. Well, meanwhile, President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers and Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress, Belinda Wilson, says while their affiliates would not participate in the proposed industrial action, she did put the government on notice, that they are not far from doing so. She says they are still awaiting a proper dialogue about the proposed bi-weekly salary payments, a response to a memo stating that no retroactive salary adjustments or promotions would be approved for periods over 5 years, and other outstanding issues.
Our members are still awaiting the completion of the 405 outstanding human resource matters, including increments, salary increases, reemployment letters for our expatriate teachers, confirmation letters, back pay, rental allowances, and more.
Meanwhile, the Director of Labor, Howard Thompson, expressing that the government has engaged in quarterly meetings with union leaders, with the most recent session taking place in December and the next scheduled for March. He cites concerns over the reasoning behind the industrial action, noting that all parties have been in ongoing constructive and productive dialogue.
At those quarterly meetings, issues would always be addressed and discussed at those meetings. And a number of them are major in the eyes of the presidents and the other members who are there, who are raising these concerns on behalf of their union members and their organization. So all of them are major issues. So I won't downplay any of those issues, but none of those issues was at a level where I thought was so critical that an impending industrial action would have been taking place today. As I said, my understanding is that there has been open dialogue between.
Well, in news from the crime beat, police in Grand Bahama are investigating a shooting incident that occurred on Monday, January 13th near Paradise Cove. According to preliminary reports, shortly after 5:30 a.m., an adult male was walking along the beach when an unknown gunman emerged from nearby bushes. The suspect fired multiple shots in the direction of the victim before fleeing the scene. As a result, the victim sustained gunshot injuries to his face and upper body and was transported by emergency medical services to the hospital for medical treatment. Following investigative leads, an adult male was taken into custody for questioning in reference to this matter. In news from Bimini, as South Bimini Airport nears completion, Bahamas Air marked a significant milestone by landing its inaugural Boeing 737 flight on the newly developed tarmac this past Majority Rule holiday. The aircraft, carrying 122 passengers, was the first of its kind to touch down at the upgraded facility. Airport Director shares the significance of the milestone. Bahamas Air's Boeing 737 making its inaugural landing on Bimini during the Majority Rule holiday. The inaugural flight crew included Captain Lemuel Ferguson, First Officer Sidney Woodside, Senior Flight Attendant Cecilia Jordan, and Flight Attendants Shanique Colbrook and Tiaja Demerit.
We're very excited about the beginning of that relationship, and we look forward to building it and continuing to grow it with our partners, especially the partners at Bahamas Air, given that they are the national airline.
Bimini Airport Director Jeremy Eby reports that 122 passengers aboard the inaugural flight were processed efficiently.
This represents a really great transition and for the airport. And in this effort, we're not sure if before Bimini Airport could process that many passengers from a 737. That was a question we had. We know we can now.
Eby also mentioning that preparations are underway to accommodate increased airlift services from international carriers.
We're developing and we're building the kind of facilities that are required internationally, to international standards, to land, process passengers, and really provide the kind of services that are required for this level of transportation, one that wasn't there before. And we're excited for Bimini Airport Development Partners. More importantly, we're excited for Bimini and for the Commonwealth.
And still to come.
The swing is celebrating its sweet victory of the 2025 Pine Yard Rush Parade.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, Junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Tune into the Sabrina Brown Show Tuesday, January 14th at 11 a.m. for an informative discussion on financial matters with special guest, the money maven Kayleen Newton, on Radio 810 a.m. and on Facebook at 810 a.m. The Light.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
I am ready.
I am ready. I am ready.
Ready or not, it's here. That's right, the biggest gospel show with me, Uncle T Baby Boy, on 8:10 a.m. That's right, interviews, greatest songs, praise and worship. It's going to be exciting. We're going to take the Bahamas to the world and bring the world to the Bahamas.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. The results are in. A crowd gathered on Explorer's Way to hear the verdict of the 2025 Pine Yard Rush. Coming out on top was the Swingers Junkanoo Group, breaking the 6-year streak of the Platinum Nights. Our Shalia Roll was in the middle of the action to file the details in this report.
Explorer's Way is the center of attention as the results of the 2025 Pine Yard Rush are about to be revealed. Residents are gathering in the stands, chanting for who they believe will be the next winner.
All right, once again, any Platinum Nights in the house?
Various groups went head-to-head on the boulevard to show their skills over the weekend, but there can only be one winner. New Generation placed 5th in the A division, while Classic Dancers took 4th place. CJ Lowe, a representative for the group, says that they knew that they weren't going to win, but the group still put their best foot forward.
We feel great. The reason why we're not disappointed is because we didn't come into the parade expecting to fully win. We came expecting to take certain categories.
Bringing the heat to the boulevard, taking 3rd place was the Platinum Knights Junkanoo group. Thomas Curry, the leader of the Junkanoo group, says that this Junkanoo season came with many challenges, adding that in the years to come, the Platinum Knights will rise to the top again.
We had a rough year, you know. I was just pleased that we made it to the road. 6 weeks ago, we was ready to close the doors because of some sponsorship issues. But, you know, we stand together and we say we're going to make the road for our fans, for the people of Grand Bahama. You know, it is what it is. You know, we're a household group, and we're going to be back by popular demand. You know, we're coming back. But
breaking the 6-year winning streak of the Platinum Knights, taking home the crown for the 2025 Pine Yard Rush Junkanoo Parade was the Swingers. The group leader, Michael Miller, says that his team worked hard to secure the big win.
Well deserving. First of all, I'd like to thank God for bringing us through this. Then my members. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here today. We have some loyal, hard-working Swingers members, and I thank them so much for bringing us here today.
And in the B category, Showtime coming in first, with Sting following. Coming in 3rd place was the Bushwhackers. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rowe.
Meanwhile, the new Junkanoo champions are still on cloud 9 after coming away as victors of the 2025 Junkanoo Parade. We caught up with the Swingers Junkanoo group as they detailed what this victory means for them. Shane Stubbs has the details on this report.
It was a great Indian reunion here on Pioneers Way, but now it's a celebration for the Swingers Junkanoo group. Now it's been some time since they last heard their names announced as the overall winners of the New Year's Day Parade, but they swung their way back to the top of the mountain after a resounding victory on January 9th. Their execution of the Great Indian Reunion, It's a Powwow, led to multiple wins across various categories, including Best Execution of Theme, Overall Costume, Best Banner, and others. A theme desired to be executed by their fallen leader, Anthony Huck Williams.
A lot of work went into putting the theme together, and we're pleased with the result. This was a theme that he was passionate about, and this was something he wanted to present prior to his demise. So we decided to pay tribute to him.
During the Platinum Knights' 6 straight victories, the group spent the past few years as 3rd-place finishers in the parade, something that forced leadership and group members to self-reflect and change their approach and preparation for this year's parade. Aiming to wow the judges at every turn this time around, leader Mike Miller believes they left no stone unturned, executing from start to finish.
I watched videos of our wins and our losses, so we had to make some changes. This presented more of a hype. It was something different that hasn't been on the road here in Grand Bahama for some time.
As their saying goes, it ain't no playground without a swing, and their music played a huge role in moving the audience as they paraded down Explorer's Way, a category that has been their staple throughout the years.
I shout out to our brass leader, Dylan Martin, Cameron Palmer. We had a good time basically throwing music around, trying to figure out what was the best option for the parade. So we had a few other songs that we wanted to play, but I think we selected the best songs that we could bring for the road.
And that was one thing to win, but another to keep the crown. And the group knows full well the work doesn't stop here.
We're going to take a couple of days off to relax, and then we're going to get back in the shock to try to do it all over.
We'll see what happens during practices and just make necessary changes.
I must commend the chairman, because he was one of those persons, he never let things just be as is. He always say it could be better. He made it a point to say that it could always be better.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Congratulations, Swingers. While as Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated celebrates 112 years of service, the Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter is giving back. Members of the sorority gathering at Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy, feeding 75 students. For Anita Harris, the Grand Bahama Alumni Chapter president, says that every year the chapter has a breakfast feeding for local schools, and this time they decided to incorporate a private school.
Today is
is our Founders Day. We're celebrating 112 years of Delta, and sisterhood, service, scholarship, and social action. And this is a part of our social action to help make sure that the children have great breakfasts so they can be great students and be productive in their classwork today.
Harris says that the students were appreciative of the sorority bringing breakfast for the students.
The children are very excited. They're happy. They're coming over. They're picking up their breakfasts. As you can see, we only have a few left. And so as they come in and get started, they're coming over to pick them up.
And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, what's happening in sports?
Well, it's been baseball, softball. The major softball and baseball tournament took place on the weekend. That's coming up in sports. Miko?
All right, that's coming up next. But first, a check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
Tune into the Sabrina Brown Show Tuesday, January 14th at 11 a.m. for an informative discussion on financial matters with special guest, the money maven Kayleen Newton, on Radio 810 a.m. and on Facebook at 810 a.m. The Light.
When you order a large Pizza Hut specialty pizza, you unlock a delicious deal. For a limited time, you can add a small one-topping pizza for just $2 more. Hawaiian, Supreme, barbecue chicken, meat lovers, and more flavors. And for just $2, you can double the deliciousness. But hurry, this mouth-watering twice as nice deal won't last forever. Call Pizza Hut Freeport at 352-9191 today.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. First in sports, baseball has been a rewarding sport for Bahamians over the past few years, signing professional contracts with major league teams. Former Bahamian major league player Anton Richardson, who played for the Atlanta Braves and New York Yankees during his playing days, is now the first base coach with the New York Mets. Richardson sharing on the endless opportunities now accessible for Bahamians through the sport.
Take Bahamians, like we've seen it, Jazz Chisholm is playing in New York in the Mecca, and doing really well. And so I think that's the ceiling right there, right? And I think he's even got more to go in terms of MVP caliber talent right there. And more importantly, I think baseball is just an opportunity to further education, travel the world, meet new people, network. And so for me, it's a vehicle to so much more than just hey, did I get to the major leagues? And so when we think about it here at LDK, it's about how can we use these different tools and gifts that we have as a vehicle to more. And so being able to expose our young people to these different opportunities is super, super important.
Next in sports, Rising Stars Softball held the Greg Christie Memorial Girls Softball Tournament on the weekend at the Grand Bahamas Sports Complex. A total of 6 teams competed in the tournament in the 12U and 16U category. Bringing special remarks was the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg. BOA President Romel Knowles, along with other softball legends, also brought remarks. When it was all said and done, it was girls like Diamond that walked away as the 12U Division champion in a close 1-7-6 versus Team Rising Stars, led by pitcher Kai Sweeting with 6 strikeouts and gave up 4 hits. The Under-16 championship was won by Rising Stars, who defeated Abaco Pink Panthers 21-9. And finally in sports, caught some high school basketball over in Abaco on the weekend. Agape defeated SC Boodle 26-20 in senior girls play. Now in senior boys action, Forest Heights got the win against Long Bay 50-23. And the other senior boys matchup, SC Boodle got the W 76-71 versus Agape. Cristiano Baloo led the team with 19 points. Jareel Tebburn chipped in with 16 in the win. And that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
When rats are constantly terrorizing the masses, there's only one person who can stop them. After all, not even the strongest rat soldier can defeat the power of budget pest control. With budget, the toughest pest won't stand a chance. Call today at 351-7378.
Get in, get out, equip yourself for the future. Pine Yard Technical Center is preparing the next generation for tomorrow. Sign up today for long-term or short-term classes. Strike a spark today, ignite a flame tomorrow. Torch handling, fire watch, plate and pipe welding. Sign up today.
This Christmas, stay connected through all the family traditions. Holidaying is unwrapping gadgets, gigs, and gift cards. Sign up for a $64.99 or higher postpaid plan and get a free smartphone. 3 gigs of bonus data for 3 months and a chance to win a $100 gift card. We've got you covered with the ultimate postpaid deals. For more postpaid offers, visit us online at bdcbahamas.com.
Your #1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
NS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, reassurance amid mass hospital strike that forced officials to activate contingency plans. Also, what came out of today's talk between the Prime Minister and a major union head? And where do they go from here? And the Chief Magistrate laser focused on building on 2024 successes of significantly improving justice. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. For all intents and purposes, Princess Margaret Hospital looked pretty much the same as it always does this morning. While there were no lines, patients waited for services as a few family members gathered outside. Now, behind the scenes, though, an entirely different scenario. 3 years of reported injustices, unheard requests, and empty promises today bubbled over today, the first of a promised 2-day strike action with a large percentage of Princess Margaret Hospital's doctors failing to report for their shifts. Our Danielle Dean sat in on a press conference during which concerns about patients and the state of the public hospital were addressed.
Not at all the words anyone wants to hear, particularly coming from hospital officials. But Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director, Abinad Roll, put it bluntly to reporters this morning in the face of today's mass industrial action at the country's public hospital. Says of the Junior Doctors Union alone, 90% of them have called in.
As it relates to the nursing staff, we've only had about 10%. In Grand Bahama, the total population there, 25% of them have called in. At Sandilands, 15% of them have called in.
But will there be a crisis moving forward? Roll candidly admits the potential is there. However,
we will be doing multiple rounding in the hospital. This is to ensure that things are flowing well, that patients are getting the attention, as well as the ability to be able to discharge patients who can go home.
Roll further reassures the hospital has called in reinforcement.
Those areas where we have specialized nurses and persons trained, we've pulled them from the other areas to be able to support the nurses. We're also grateful to retired nurses, retired TCNs and RNs who have come together to help us, and we have a pool formed to be able to facilitate for the next 48 hours.
After which, if things don't return to normal, PHA has another backup plan, Roll insists. She noted that the healthcare industry is one that is fluid and that problem solving is no new concept. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, a different tune sung by the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas, with President Dwayne Woods stressing that his union was certainly not a part of today's mass strike action. Lloyd Allen takes the story from here.
No national strike, at least for the National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas.
We have not been advised of the reason or reasons for such an action.
And some members of the Trade Union Congress impacted services across the country Monday with strike action. National Congress of Trade Unions of the Bahamas President Dwayne Woods on the offensive.
If they've been having social dialogue and they wanted to pull off a national sickout or national strike, then I think all three Congress should have collaborated together.
And that includes the Trade Union Congress, the NCTUB, as well as the Bahamas National Alliance of Trade Union Congress, headed by Belinda Wilson. Woods believes outstanding commitments from the 2022 Memorandum of Understanding signed with the then opposition, now government, is likely at the crux of concerns.
Not all of our issues in our Congress are solved. We still have matters to be solved. And as late as this morning, I would have given the Prime Minister a call, and he's already invited our Congress to a meeting to resolve our matters. And we intend to go by way of social dialogue.
Woods adding, in the absence of dialogue, the umbrella unions of the country will remain divided.
Like they never invited us to collaborate with them to see what their issues are, and we are unaware of what their issues are, so it'll be wrong for me to say where they are.
The trade union leader also condemning the actions by the TUC, calling them archaic and in poor taste.
It's not only from the National Congress of Trade Union perspective. Internationally, that's the way the world is going.
Woods contends there remains International Labor Organization guidelines which helps unions to navigate challenges, and he hopes the Trade Union Congress president soon complies, if not for his own benefit, but for his members. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Now, as you just heard, not all unions standing in solidarity with the TUC and its affiliates, and by extension, their strike action. Corval Pyfrom has reaction tonight from the head of the Teachers Union.
So today, the members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers from Grand Bahama to Inagua, they reported to school as usual at 8:45 a.m. until 3:15 p.m.
Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson reporting that her members headed to work Monday as rival affiliate unions under the Trade Union Congress, led by President Obie Ferguson, staged what is being called an illegal strike. Now, while Wilson and the Bahamas Union of Teachers did not participate in today's industrial actions, the BUT president tells us that from a philosophical standpoint, she supports many of the TUC's positions. However, she says it's time that Obie Ferguson step down.
When we examine the concerns of customs and immigration, when we examine the concerns of the junior doctors and the nurses, when we examine their concerns, their concerns mirror the concerns that the Bahamas Union of Teachers has, the Bahamas Public Services Union has, and other affiliates have. So we know of the fight. We support a stance, but we always look deeper when it's been led by Obie Ferguson.
The feud between the two union leaders has escalated in recent years, with Wilson taking great issue with Ferguson's decision to sign a memorandum of understanding in 2021 with the then opposition Progressive Liberal Party, hailing it at the time as a workers' agenda. Wilson says fast forward to 2025, the PLP now in government, and Ferguson and his affiliates have all been sold a bill of goods.
And I stand by what I said. Mr. Ferguson, your bowl of porridge is cold. So now you're crying and you're using workers to push your own personal agenda. Stop it.
For Wilson, the only way to right this ship is for Ferguson to step down.
It is not my character to attack another trade union leader.
And she hopes he does it sooner than later.
Move on, Mr. Ferguson. Your time is up. TikTok.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Well, meantime, ahead of today's planned action at its agency, the National Insurance Board making it clear that it's always been its goal to reach a fair and mutually beneficial agreement, adding, though, that its priority is the sustainability of the fund. Now, NIB officials also putting it out there that they have successfully concluded negotiations with the Public Managers Union, and this week will seal the deal with an agreement signing. They're equally optimistic about a resolution with the Union of Public Officers, or UPO, noting that the only outstanding matter is a financial one pertaining to the 5th year of the proposed industrial agreement. That said, NIB is encouraging the UPO to return to the table. Coming up, a U.S. magistrate hands down an order in that multinational guns for drugs transshipment scheme. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
I already had that for lunch.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large size. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with BTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with BTC, wherever your journey takes you.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
The news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
You're looking at a stunning aerial shot there of the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort at night. Welcome back. A black hearse is escorted by a police car leaving Soldier Road after 3 this afternoon. Following reports that a man had died, our team arrived after the body was taken, but based on reports reaching our newsroom, the victim died due to natural causes. Police have not yet issued a comment on the matter. Well, today's discovery coming just as detectives dig deep into the circumstances surrounding an early morning shooting here in New Providence that snuffed the life out of a 27-year-old man. The where and when? Big Pond after midnight. The what? Police disclosing that the victim and 2 others were outside a home on Lakeshore Road off Tucker Road when a black American model sedan pulled up. An occupant exited the vehicle and opened fire before speeding off south onto Water Street. The police later found the wounded man with multiple gunshot wounds. He died in hospital. Now, the why behind this particular story is still being pieced together. Meantime, a somber few days for the Aquinas College family who are mourning the loss of one of its scholars. The Catholic Board of Education confirming in a release today that 9th grader Ethan Clark collapsed during PE class last Thursday. Trained school personnel attended to the teen. An ambulance was called. Ethan, however, died at Doctors Hospital. Focusing on the positive, though, the Aquinas family remembering the student as kind and mannerly, one who enjoyed playing in the school's band. Now, we can also tell you that a team of counselors and clergy will be available to students, teachers, and parents. And this is heartfelt condolences are extended to Ethan's family and friends. Well, United States Magistrate Barbara C. Moses handing down an order in the case of Chief Superintendent of Police Elvis Nathaniel Curtis. That order requiring the U.S. government to disclose to the defense all information in relation to the indictment against Curtis and 12 others for allegedly participating in a multinational guns for drugs transshipment scheme. Magistrate Moses ordering that the government must disclose to the defense all information, quote, favorable to an accused that is material either to guilt or punishment. The order made in New York on January 8th. Back here in the capital, the lower courts are looking forward to building on the successes of 2024. Chief Magistrate Roberta Reckley, in a rare interview, said one of the most significant things to occur at the magistrates' courts was the increase in the jurisdiction. Prior to last year, persons were only to bring claims of up to $5,000 to the lower courts, but that amount has been upped to $20,000. According to the Chief Magistrate, this greatly aided with allowing more cases to move through the courts and a swifter resolution to more matters.
Many more people are finding resolution to matters that they would have to wait a long time in the Supreme Court, spend a lot more money. So they're taking advantage of that. And we're seeing a tremendous amount of volume in terms of cases that are being brought and completed, which is, I think, the Bahamian people seem to be thankful for it.
Appointed back in 2023, Chief Magistrate Reckley says that this year the courts will look at making better use of technology to help with expanding access to the Family Islands and additional ways to ensure the dispensing of matters is done in a timely manner.
It be a civil matter or a criminal matter, persons deemed to have an issue with how long matters take to get through the courts. I think with taking advantage of technology, which is something we want to do, certainly in the Family Islands, take more advantage of the access that persons have through electronic media, I think we can get a lot more done.
And speaking of the law, new amendments to the Environmental Planning and Protection Act extending its power to allow the department to issue fines on the spot. Felicity Darville has more on that story.
Clearing down an environmentally sensitive area like this without a permit could cost you $20,000 on the spot. Failure to pay within 14 days could land you in court. A conviction from the court could cost you a $30,000 fine or even land you in jail. The Department of Environmental Protection and Planning now has the power to issue a series of spot fines for environmental infractions. Heavy equipment operators are urged to ensure that their client presents a Certificate of Environmental Clearance, or CEC, before clearing land anywhere in the country. Amendments have also been made to the Act to reverse the red tape and the headache that the CEC was initially causing. Director Dr. Rihanna Neely Murphy explains.
How the law was interpreted was that every project in the Bahamas was to be subject to the environmental impact assessment regulations and would require a certificate of environmental clearance. This meant that if you were installing a fence on your property, that you would need a certificate of environmental clearance. If you were conducting a renovation to your single-family home, you would need a certificate of environmental clearance. And so this became very burdensome to the newly established department, as well as to other government agencies, Ministry of Works, etc.
For smaller projects, there's now a single form and no fee required. These changes are particularly important to Family Island residents. Minister the Honorable Vaughn Miller announced that these no-fee forms will be available at Family Island administrative offices.
For the Family Islanders, whatever they were building, everything, as Dr. Neely alluded to, if they were putting up a fence, if they were building a structure that was not anywhere near wetlands or beachfront or any sensitive areas, everything had to come to New Providence. And so it was burdensome not only on the department, but also on the Family Islanders. And so this is a relief for them.
Decreased paperwork and instant spot fines are just some of the changes the new amendments will bring. Felicity Darville for the Bahamas Tonight.
Now, Dr. Neely Murphy also forewarning food stores and other businesses that the use of plastic bags can lead to an automatic $1,000 fine, and that's per banned plastic item.
I'd like to encourage the general public. We're going to show the schedule of fines. And like I said, the fines range from $1,000 to $20,000. If you're found with a banned item, for example, the plastic ban was marked 5 years on January 1st, and we're seeing a lot of businesses beginning now to carry the plastic bags again. The fine for having these in your store, in your possession, is $1,000, and that is $1,000 per. Okay, so we encourage you to clean up your shops, clean up your places. If you're working without a certificate of environmental clearance, if you're starting work without a CEC and a CEC is required, the fine for that is $10,000.
Some other infractions that could end in an immediate spot fine are damage to coral reefs, the discharge of hazardous substances into Bahamian waters, and much more. Well, stay with us. On the Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Private and Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies?
Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
When it comes to the big things, when it comes to envisioning the future we'd like to build, I'd like to believe we can agree. We want a free, fair, and prosperous country in which every citizen is treated with dignity and blessed with opportunity and security.
Register today at tclevents.com.
The skin is the body's largest and one of its most important organs. For this very reason, it needs constant care and attention. But for many of us, skin care is an afterthought. Laura Danielle Dean sat down with an esthetician of 12 years to get a better idea of what, in particular, facial skin needs to thrive.
When it comes to skin types, 3 of the most commonly discussed are dry, combination, and oily skin.
Dry skin is normally sometimes, confused with dehydrated skin. Dry skin is when you don't really see any oil production coming up on the skin. I have combination skin, whereas in my T-zone area, which would be my forehead, my nose, the top of my lip, and my chin, I get oil production. And then on my cheeks are fairly dry. I also break out more so in those areas as well. So that's combination skin. It's a mixture between oily and dry. Oily skin, which can then have like enlarged pores. You can have cystic acne. You can have acne all over. Hormonal acne is a difference with oily skin. Oily skin is one of the skin types that a lot of Bahamians think they have, but not really. Just because you see a little bit of oil doesn't mean you have oily skin. It could just be from what you're eating, what you're drinking.
Speaking of ingestion, Perfect Tone's lead esthetician Jem Brennan strongly recommends those aiming for healthy skin practice good eating habits and drink lots of water as opposed to fast foods and sugary drinks. The latter do nothing but work against any skincare goals one may have.
A good way to tell if your skin is dehydrated is just by simply doing the trick with the back of your hand. You pinch it. If it stays up, then that means you need more water. If it, goes back right into place, then your skin, is hydrated. Another habit that I see people have is touching their face. Your hands carry a lot of germs. Like, even if you think that, you've already washed your hands and nothing's going on, the faucet that you just touched to turn on still has germs on it.
Brennan advises that facial skin, due to its fragility, doesn't take well to the use of abrasive products like cloth towels. Neither will the typical drugstore soap do the trick. Persons must think their skin worthy enough of proper consultation with a trained esthetician so they can be recommended the most suitable products for the skin's success. With Health Matters for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, thanks, Danielle. We're now going to check in with LaDawn and Desmond for a sneak peek of what's coming up in Access Now, guys.
Well, Makush, to let you know, on January 9th, Junkanoo was infused in our public schools, and I think Palmdale Primary was the first one, right, Desmond?
Yeah, picking up steam. Palmdale Primary students getting in the Junkanoo mood and spirit.
Oh, it's always good to get the youth involved. But stay with us. The National Report returns after the break.
In the Bahamas, we're connected by more than just our islands. Now we're connected by Sand Dollar. It moves with you across many digital wallets. It doesn't matter if you use Bank of the Bahamas, Cash and Go, Island Pay, Canoe, Mobile Assist, Money Max, Suncash, or Omni. Sand Dollar, one currency and many wallets. It's inclusive, convenient, secure, and uniquely Bahamian. Embrace the future. Available for everyone on all Bahamian digital wallet apps.
People are going crazy for Popeyes around the world. Some have camped out for hours just to try our delicious chicken. This guy stocked up on 300 crunchy, juicy chicken sandwiches, just in case. And these lovebirds celebrated their wedding with the Popeyes cake. For real. We get it, y'all chicken lovers. Because we're just as crazy to marinate our chicken for 12 hours and make every piece by hand. That crazy love, we love. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
So we helped bring some magic to the Albury Sale Primary School. We were able to visit with Mickey Mouse, bring some gifts, and just celebrate the magic of Disney in the community today here in Nassau.
We were in a Disney sort of mood. It was such a great joy to see their faces light up and to hold those toys in their hands, knowing that I've got a piece of Disney in my hand. It was just awesome.
Disney coming to Eleuthera, coming to Nassau and Abaco. I'm so proud of Disney Cruise Line and the work Disney is doing, especially in the classroom and the schools in the Bahamas.
This has been an amazing day for me.
And that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.